Look at us, buddy. Welcome to Monday morning and a brand new I Needed That podcast. Hi, everybody. I'm Matthew Blades.
And I'm Chris Powell.
Oh man, he's playing hurt today, guys. He's playing hurt. We are recording this episode the day after the Super Bowl, so it's February 12th on our recording meter. And you not only are you raspy, I'm sure, from screaming at the game yesterday, but you're also not 100.
No, dude, I've been battling this illness. What started as a virus, like a flu, a week ago, then turned into a secondary bronchial infection, and now I don't know what it is, but it hasn't gotten better. So when I get back to Arizona today, I'm going in because I don't want to mess with this. I've had pneumonia twice in my life, and this is eerily reminiscent of it. And so I'm going to go get this thing checked out because I'm on the tail end of a Z-Pack right now. It hasn't helped. So I'm still fighting fever and everything. And I was feeling better. It was crazy because I got the Z-Pack, telemed. I'm up here, in Vegas, and everything's going on. So they load me up with a bunch of prescription stuff, and I'm feeling great. And all of a sudden, I started going downhill again last night after the game. And here's the funny thing: I sound terrible. I didn't even cheer at the game. I couldn't, just because I don't even I don't have the lung capacity to
Did you just kind of sit and watch the game like you were on your couch, but you had a better TV?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was it.
Oh my gosh,
man, it's been brutal. So, I mean, we'll see. Fingers crossed, man. I've had pneumonia twice, and I don't want it ever again for the rest of my life. I'll tell you that.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start off today's podcast with just a couple of comments. We had a few reviews come in. And as you guys know, we've been asking you to leave your reviews on the I Needed That podcast, wherever you happen to get it, if that's Apple or Spotify or iHeart or whatever that is for you. But some nice comments from JMB51201. That is Julie. She says, love the podcast. Gets me through my longer commutes once a week. Tammy Strum 5556 says, love you guys. And I don't know who this person's name is. They've got just kind of a generic user, but it says, love the podcast. You two are amazing. So maybe that kind of medicine helps you feel a little better, Chris.
It always makes me feel better. Whenever you guys leave nice comments and reviews, man, it brightens both of our days. So seriously, thank you so much. And let us know what you guys like about the show, or what we could do better. Maybe some ideas that you want to hear us cover. And we're wide open. It's our podcast, but it's your podcast too. So we love the feedback. Keep it coming.
All right. Well, today the full-on intention is to answer some of your questions, and we're going to start by opening up this podcast today with a little bit of an apology. I want to make a little bit of an apology to our audience. When we first started this podcast, we came up with this great idea for a segment called Ask Chris. And we even built this button on the website, and we were like, hey, go there and ask us questions. And we didn't get any questions. And we were like, all right, well, I guess people don't want to ask any questions. And then we figured out what the actual login to the website was. And there were so many questions waiting for us.
Oh, we felt so
bad.
I'm sorry, guys. It was technical difficulties, but we take full responsibility. So thank you for sending in your questions. And we know what the login is now. We know how to find these questions. we ended up running at a lot of different things. So many parts came together except that one. So now when you do send in a question, we actually do get it. So now, hey, guess what? Now we can have some fun with the segment.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've got three lined up here today, Chris. And here's what I'm thinking, and you can shoot me down, but I'm thinking, all right, you're a little under the weather. So let's not do a super long podcast today. Let's kind of get you in and out. I know you're getting anxious to get back to Arizona anyways. So here's what I want to do. I want to know, how do you travel with food and nutrition so that when you're on the road, you keep eating the same kinds of foods? And then we'll get to these three questions, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Sound good?
I love it. Absolutely. So
okay.
Was that one of the questions as far as how traveling?
It wasn't, but I wanted to know, because I'm just kind of curious, when you travel, do you bring like all your stuff with you, or do you just try to order healthy while you're on the road?
No. Absolutely. Like you hit the nail on the head. I always travel. I come prepared with some set foods. And by the way, it's a great question. I actually did a post about this not too long ago, just because this is a question I actually get a lot of, because there's a lot of folks that are either their career has them constantly moving around from hotel to hotel, or they're truckers. I actually get a lot of truckers reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I'm on the road all the time. You know, all I have access to is gas stations and convenience stores." Believe it or not, you can actually stay really well on track at a lot of these convenience stores nowadays, or in like airport, airport quick marts, like Hudson News type places, right? But when I travel, so I always have just some regular go-to foods that I'm constantly carrying with me. And in fact, I'm pretty well packed up right here, but I've got, I don't know if I can even show it to you, but I literally carry everything. I'm just going to show you what I got right now. So I've got my little Tupperware container right here, but
Yep.
in my Tupperware container, this is all the stuff I carry right here.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, dude, it's funny because.
So describe what's there for folks who are listening.
I was going to suggest, I was like, hey, can I show you guys what I will typically bring? So I'm so glad you brought this up, because I was already preparing the whole thing over here. So here's what I'll typically do. And now for everyone who's actually listening to this right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'll describe them all as well. But for everyone who's watching this, then it'll be a little bit easier for you. So for me, I will always bring just like a powdered protein, because the first thing I'm always going to think about is just a good protein source, right? Because protein is going to be the most immediately satiating macronutrient. Plus, it's going to help my muscles recover, repair, etc. But more than anything, it's satiating, and so it's going to help. It'll really help keep you on track. So I always have a powdered protein source. But above and beyond that, a lot of times if you stop to these convenience stores, you can get like these ready-made protein shakes. You just powers, they got muscle milk, they got a bunch of different kinds of ready to drink shakes, which are also awesome. I prepare these before I go. These are my peanut butter protein balls.
Yeah, we've talked about your balls a lot on this podcast. I think long time listeners will remember all of our wonderful conversations about your protein balls.
They're a hit. And so I will.
People love putting them in their mouth, man. They're so satisfying. It's just a.
Dude, they kept me alive yesterday at the Super Bowl.
Did you put them in your pockets?
Dude, I had 6 balls in my pockets, and I snacked on them because I wasn't about to spend $20 at concessions for a hot dog. It was insane.
Were the food prices ridiculous, by the way?
Bro, bottled water, 12 ounces of bottled water was $9. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. I know. And I'm not about to do that. So yeah, it was ridiculous. So I literally just packed all my food in my pockets. But just to kind of make it easy, I packed 6 protein balls. That's more than I needed. I consumed 3 throughout the 4.5 hours of the football game. So I'll always do those. Now here's the thing though. Also, when I'm traveling, it's really important you're gonna bring foods that are they're non-perishable. And so you can't go wrong with fruit. I always travel with fruit as well. So I brought a bunch of bananas. I also brought some pears, brought some grapes. I did bring a bunch of just carrot sticks.
Some carrot sticks there, buddy. That's what I like.
And then as far as my carbs go, I love these caramel flavored rice cakes. They're so freaking good. Look, rice cakes, they got a really bad rap
I love them.
I do too. And here's the thing. I get it. I get plain rice cakes. They don't have a ton of flavor, but if you throw a little bit of peanut butter on them or something,
yes,
they're so good. But I'll tell you, caramel rice cakes, or they also make these chocolate ones. They're on a whole new level. They're so delicious. So I always travel with a couple of those. I did bring a box of cereal. And then I also bring, if you go, you can get almond milk, not in the refrigerated section, but you can actually just get it in the aisle. And so you don't have to refrigerate it at all, and it'll keep. But once it's open, you do have to refrigerate it. Okay. So I brought those. I did bring some peanut butter as well, just because I like to put a little bit of peanut butter on my bananas. And then I also, just for a nice little treat, because we are traveling and it's kind of fun to have a treat while you're traveling, I did make some Rice Krispie treats back at home, and just for that. And then just to help stave off the sweet tooth, I've got a bunch of Diet Barks root beer here. and that's what I'll sip on at night when I get a sweet tooth. So I will always travel with that. Or what I'll do is I'll travel with all the non-perishable stuff. Hold on, let me see. Where is it? I will throw it in just a little cooler bag like this.
Yeah, your stacks, baby.
Yeah, and and there's a lot of different companies that'll make just travel pack for coolers. I just throw it all in there. I carry it with me. Then here's what I'll do. If I'm flying, as soon as I land on the way to the hotel, I'll just swing by a grocery store and I'll usually buy, a bunch of Oikos yogurt, some of the refrigerated fruits, stuff like that. Maybe if I do want to get some refrigerated, like some cold almond milk. And then when you get to your hotel, here's the thing. You can just request a refrigerator to be brought to your room if they don't have one. Most hotels have refrigerators in the room nowadays. And if they don't, you can always request one because they actually have to have them available to people, especially for people or if someone's diabetic or for nursing moms, they always have refrigerators available. So you can always request one. At most places, they'll just bring it to your room. Other places, it might be like a $5 rental per night. It could be worth it. And here's the thing though. I brought all of my own food and all of this, together. I've been here in Vegas since Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Monday now. Do you know how much money I've saved not going out? I mean, we went to, so Rachel, she's like my head executive, vice president of everything we do. And, we're up here because of Move 1 Million, the nonprofit. We went to one dinner. And that dinner was over $100, and it was a good dinner. But at the same time, could you imagine if we were doing breakfast and dinner or breakfast, lunch, dinner for at least 3 days here? It's insane. I spent $100 on all of this, and I stayed on track the entire time. So it's a no-brainer when it comes to traveling. Like, just bring your own food, and it makes it so much easier. And as long as you land. You hit the grocery store, you're in the grocery store for 10, 15 minutes. You spend, I don't know, $35, $40 for a couple days. Dude, you just saved yourself hundreds of dollars, and you're not going to derail yourself, by eating off plan when you go to all these different restaurants. Plus, you save yourself a ton of time as well because you don't have to go to breakfast, sit down. You go to lunch, wait, sit down, eat, leave, dinner. You don't have to spend your day focused around meals. You can actually spend your day doing what you need to do. So so sorry.
Let it go, man. No, let it go. Just don't hold it in. I don't need you hanging on to that. Let that go if that's ready.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. So
good for you, man. I mean, it is impressive. It's a little more effort, but I can see the value in it. And, when we travel, we really, really try to eat breakfast at home. It's like that. At least try to have one meal at the hotel where we can kind of control what we're putting into our bodies, because you're right. Yeah, we have a family of 4. It's like you go out and everything is $100 when you travel. It's too much.
Oh yeah, it gets really expensive. And it might seem like a little bit of effort, especially with this whole display that I've got right here. Honestly, when I pull out like my little Tupperware container, like the bin, it took me 10 minutes to load it in. It was stuff I already had in the pantries. Or if you do the whole thing where you land, hit the grocery store, then go to the hotel, yeah, it's going to be 30 minutes extra, but you're going to save at least a couple hours on the back end and, hundreds of dollars. And so if you're traveling on a budget, it could certainly be worth your while.
All right, man. Listen, love it. Good for you. Setting a fine example for all of us. Setting the bar really, really high. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
If I talk the talk, I better walk the walk, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I can't help but just sit over here and feel so inadequate as I watch your display of eating. It's just,
oh, stop.
I feel like I'm losing in life, man, when I see somebody like you go ahead and getting after it like that. It's incredible.
Yeah, right.
It's inspiring, man. It is. It's awesome.
You can anyone listening, you can call me out anytime when I'm traveling, and I will show you the lineup. And here's the thing. I learned this system because I started traveling with the show back in like 2010, and I spent 6 years on the road. And so my regimen hasn't changed since for 14 years now. Whenever I travel, it looks just like this every single time. And so, and it works. It really does work. And again, it's just saved so much time and energy. So if there's anything anyone listening picks up from this, just one or two little nuggets, man, if it benefits you, great.
All right.
Mission
Speaking of nuggets, we as we mentioned a few minutes ago, we found our Ask Chris questions. They've been sitting there on that poor website for months now, and we feel awful about not knowing that, but we know it now. And I've got a few questions to play for you and I, and then I figure we can answer these questions, and then we'll move on for the day. And I probably important to put a disclaimer out there that everybody's situation is different. You should always consult with your doctor. We're going to answer these questions as best we can, but this is purely for entertainment and informational purposes only. And everyone should seek the attention of their own doctors to get the answers for them specifically. But are you ready for the first Ask Chris?
I am, and I'll be brutally honest. If I don't know the answer, then I will let you know, and I'll tell you that I'll at least start to research it for myself so that I'll be better prepared next time. But
I think you got this first one. First one. All right, here we go. Ask Chris. This is number one.
Hi, Chris and Matt. My name is Jeremiah. I'm a huge fan of your show. Chris, I've been a huge fan of yours since season 1 of your show. My question to you, Chris, is my left arm feels weaker than my right arm, and how do I train it to match the strength of my right arm?
No, so I love this question because after my back surgery, my right leg got much weaker than my left leg. And so I'm going to be listening really closely to this answer here because I want to know what I can do too. So what is your advice for people that feel like they have a weaker arm or a weaker leg or, whatever that is?
Absolutely. Honestly, one of the best things you can do is going to be a unilateral work, which just means one-sided work, or which would also be like you could consider working with dumbbells.
Yes,
one-sided, because what happens? Say I'm doing dumbbell curls with both my left arm and my right arm. Here's the thing: if I'm doing a barbell curl, I can definitely cheat toward that right arm to complete that curl. But because dumbbells are not connected like a barbell, both arms have to work independently of each other. So you want to do work where both limbs have to work independently of each other. By the way, Jeremiah, Ed is a great question. And here's the other thing. No human is completely symmetrical. Everybody is a little bit stronger on one side than they are on the other.
Is that real?
Yes, absolutely. Now, granted, some people might have much more balanced strength on both sides, and other people might have more asymmetries, is what we should call them. But yes, the more you can do work where both sides need to work independently of each other, that's going to be your win. And then you'll definitely find if you say you're doing that dumbbell work, and I'm going to speak to that just because of arms. It's a little bit easier sometimes to do dumbbell work with arms, but of course, if you're doing legs, you could be doing lunges, you could be doing single-legged hip thrusts, you could be doing all kinds of different work, whereas versus a squat or something like that. But as far as arms goes, you'd be doing your lateral delt raises, you'd be doing bicep curls, tricep extensions, you could be doing shoulder presses. I say grab those dumbbells and then continue to work, and you'll definitely find that one side's going to fatigue faster than the other, and that's okay. But I want you to go ahead and again, talk to your doctor first, as Matthew had said at the very beginning of this conversation. But once you get the green light from them, I want to definitely challenge yourself to push yourself just a little bit to that point where you're really working, you're struggling to complete those reps on the weaker side. And even though the strong side is going to feel like you could do maybe 3, 4, 5 more reps, I say as soon as you start to fatigue on the weaker side, let that be the end of the set. Okay. And over time, you're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. You'll build that strength back up.
So do I use a heavier weight? Like if I'm doing dumbbells and I'm trying to build strength on the right, should I go 15 pounds on the left and 20 pounds on the right?
Good question. No, I would keep the weight equal. If you're looking to balance them out, I'd keep the weight equal. And granted, there might be other coaches out there that have a different opinion from mine, and I'd be more than happy to hear them out. In my world, if I'm looking to try to balance an asymmetry, then I want to keep the weight the same, and I'm going to let the weak side catch up to the strong side. Okay. And so you're going to feel that weak side again. You're going to feel that weak side fatigue a lot faster. But it's in that point of fatigue when you're really trying to squeeze out those last few reps. That's what's going to get that big signal in there for strength, for growth, and for everything that you're looking to do in order to balance the asymmetry.
All right, man. Here's our second question. It's about exercise for the immune system. Here, have a listen, everybody.
Good morning, Chris. I just want to say that I saw you on the ABC Good Morning America and wanted to thank you for your interview. I too have generalized anxiety disorder. I am an older father and I have a 14-year-old son. I'm single, and I'm taking different vitamins to build up my immune system. Are there exercises that can help build up my immune system? God bless you and thank you again for all that you're doing to help.
There it is. Are there exercises that are better than others for the immune system?
That's a good question. And this is where I'm going to raise my hand and say, I don't fully know the answer to that. When it comes to actually exercises that will boost the immune system, I do know that the more you can move, it will strengthen the immune system. So walking, light cardio. Usually if you start to get into the really intense stuff, because the body is one big energetic system. And so if you start to do some really intense workouts, sometimes it can actually weaken the immune system a little bit because, you've got 13 systems in the body, right? And of all those systems that are all working together, it's got one, there's one power source. So it's kind of like, have you ever been in a house and you got a blow dryer running in one room and then you turn on a blow dryer in the other room? What happens to the lights of the house? Yeah, everything dims, right? And so if you got, your musculoskeletal system and it's working really hard over here, and then your immune system needs some power though, sure enough, it's going to pull from the whole source. And so, yeah, it's a really good way to think about it. So that's why a lot of people, if they start to feel, if you're feeling run down, like in my situation right now.
Are you working out right now? Do you work out while you feel like crap?
No. So there's a quick little rule of thumb. So if you're sick from the neck up, it's okay to work out lightly. But if you're sick from the neck down, they say avoid it altogether. If you're experiencing chills, body aches, and all that. Yeah. And again, because, the moment you start moving, if you start working out, this is your nervous system, it's your skeletal system, your muscular system, your cardiorespiratory system. So, you got a lot of systems that are pulling a lot of power. Your immune system needs that energy. So it's better that you rest and you let your immune system get all that power, like turn on that blow dryer, max force, right? But I know that there's a few things you can do. You can't go wrong as far as walking goes. Brisk walking is incredible for all the systems of the body, and especially also for the lymphatic system, which is all tied into the immune system as well. Because if you think about it, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like the cardiovascular system, right? Your cardiovascular system's got the heart that's constantly pumping the fluid throughout the body, where your lymphatic system, it's a series of, they call them they're one-way valves. It doesn't have a pump at all. So it actually it piggybacks off the muscular system. So constant muscular contraction gets all the fluid moving throughout your body. And so it's just super interesting. So that's where walking, just moving your body with very light muscular contraction really keeps the fluid moving throughout your body for people that suffer from lower body swelling and stuff like that. I'm digressing right now, but nevertheless, there's so much to cover in that space.
I love what you said. I like this idea that if I'm sick from the neck up, I'm okay to move a little bit, but if I'm the neck down, that's simple. That's a good, simple strategy, good rule of thumb. Thank you.
Great rule of thumb, easy to live by. Yeah. But again, if you got some sniffles or something like that, don't go out there and kill yourself, because again, if you are fighting something, you definitely want the immune system to have that power to knock that thing out. But just some light movement, getting the blood flowing, it could be really good for you.
All right. Before we get to the third question, I want to remind everybody that we are on YouTube right now, and you can watch these podcasts as they take place. It's not the most high quality setup on planet Earth, but for visual people, I think you'll enjoy it. We also ask that you leave a review for our podcast. It's the freest way that you can help us. We are set up wherever you guys enjoy podcasts on all the platforms, and we invite you to leave us 5 stars and then drop a review in there. I also want to mention, Chris, that we do have our own I Needed That podcast merchandise, and we decided to go for it, and because we've had a couple of people say like, wow, the hoodies are expensive, but they're a brand that is so freaking awesome that I like these hoodies better than I like Lulu hoodies. And I know the t-shirts, man, you were meticulous about this particular brand being in our store.
Yeah. We had to go for the next level on t-shirts, like literally next level t-shirts. That's the brand.
They're soft.
Yeah. And it's the only t-shirts that I really like to wear. I literally have 20 or 30 next level t-shirts.
Do you really?
I do.
That's incredible.
In every different color. Yes, I know, but the quality is perfect, and then they fit so well.
They fit, dude.
So, yeah. So we had to go for next level. So I mean, here's the thing, guys. Like, we'd rather you guys get a good quality product that you're going to have for a long period of time.
For sure.
Than just something cheap with a logo on it, you know?
There it is.
So,
yes. Yeah, there it is. So go have a look. You can go to chrispowell.com and click podcast, and you'll see the merch store right there. Again, it's chrispowell.com, and you can click podcast, and you'll see the merchandise there. Also, just want to take a second, let everybody know that the Kept app is 100% free now. And y'all have come up with this version that people can opt into, and it is absolutely free. If you would, Chris, just briefly, like in 30, 40 seconds, describe the main differences between the free app and then the premium one, which people would, pony up for 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah, so you can download the Kept app completely free. It's Kept Basic, and it's got multiple pillars of wellness that you can activate on there. So from steps to cardio trackers, to sleep trackers, to hydration trackers. We've even got 28 days of workouts with the Bodyweight Beginner High Intensity Interval Training Program. We've got a breathing exercise, mindfulness. And so you can download the app and you can actually start the whole process of what we call promise stacking, where you can put together sleep, workouts, and hydration, which that's like the jumpstart for weight loss. And you can start this process. And again, and it's not like, oh, it's free for 7 days. No, it's free forever. And you can utilize the Kept app now to start building your streaks, building your rank, and ultimately creating these habits that are going to last a lifetime. And so that was one of the biggest things we wanted to do, is just break down the barrier so people don't have to pay money now to start the process of transformation. You've got a tool right here that's available that you can utilize for the rest of your life to start taking those steps to changing your life forever. And if you do want the premium version is going to open up access to over 1,000 workouts, full nutrition tracking, custom macro tracking, a whole library of mindfulness exercises, breathing exercises. So for those of who really want to accelerate it that much more, then you can upgrade to premium. But in the meantime, start with the Kept Basic version and start your transformation now for free.
I want to encourage everybody to go premium, because if you don't go premium, Chris can't feed his children. So we really need everybody to jump in, go all out. Listen, it's worth it, right? Most people have a mindfulness app on their phone. They have a food tracking app on their phone. They have this app on their phone. They have that. This is 10 apps in one. So we encourage everybody to check out the Kept app. For those of you that are watching us right now on our YouTube channel, when you go in, this is a little bit of what the Kept app looks like. You can see some of this stuff on the screen, just so you kind of have an idea. But as I just said a second ago, 10 apps in one. All right, so you guys jump on that. I also want to let everybody know this weekend, dude, it was so funny. Before we get to this third question, I had 3 different friends come up to me, and they all work in corporate America. And like, I've become the burnout guy now, right? When people bring me in now to deliver workshops and keynotes for their employees, and what I talk about is burnout, because I believe burnout is 100% preventable. And there are a few things that you can do as a group and as an individual where you can prevent burnout. I believe that with my whole heart. And this weekend had 3 separate people say, hey, can I talk to you about this burnout? And they all want to chat about it. They want to know what I know. And if you want to bring me into your company to deliver a great workshop, super fun, really entertaining, filled with pictures of famous people, filled with great stories. It's a complete facilitation of a discussion, so everybody's going to get involved. And the best thing is, your people will literally leave with a self-care strategy. When they walk out of the door, they will have a plan to take care of themselves, which will be so valuable. And you can find me over at learnfrompeoplewholiveit.com. We've got that link in our show notes, along with the Kept app, along with everything else that you could possibly need. So check the show notes, and then you will get your answers. All right, should we get to the third question?
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, please. I don't want to go too fast if you're ready to slow down.
No. And here's my question for you: is what do you think it is that's causing more burnout nowadays than before? Because it is happening. I mean, and it's to the point where right now I know that especially even I do a lot of work in the first responder community, and
Oh,
they're
man.
really pushing a lot of resources toward mental health, emotional
Yes.
health for burnout. And so this is happening. Is it technology? Is it like what is it that's happening? I mean, what in your experience? I mean, because
And
you've
it's
seen,
a couple of things. It's a
yeah,
couple of things, right? So number one, it's the awareness piece. We're a lot more aware of our mental health now than we've ever been. And so folks are starting to tune into that frequency and going, am I? And we're realizing that, yeah, you probably are. I mean, the statistics, the latest numbers are corporate America is anywhere from 40 to 44% burnout rate. That means on the daily, your employees are experiencing burnout. And so when you think about that, 40%, man, that is billions of people in the world right now are completely burned out. And so it's awareness, number one. And number two, what I really think it is we've created a hustle culture, and we've created a culture where the more you do, the better you are. And we've gotten to a super dangerous place where we tied our value to our productivity. And as long as we're pumping and grinding, we're feeling really good about ourselves. And people wear busy like a badge of honor. You know, you'll ask them, how you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm so busy, man. I'm busy. I got this. I got this. I got this. And I interviewed this woman on my podcast, Courtney McDermott, and she's like, I've removed the word busy from my vocabulary. I do not use the word anymore. And she's like, busy is for bees. And I have adopted that. And what I have started to say, and I could, because you and I both talked about this before, language is so powerful. And when people now ask me like, hey man, how are you? I used to be like, oh my God, I'm so busy. I got this going. I got this going. I got this going. I've completely changed my language now. People are like, how are you? I'm like, I'm so fantastic. I'm leaning into everything that I absolutely love. I enjoy my days again. Like I'm just plugged into the right projects now. I don't feel stressed out. I don't feel any of that stuff anymore. So I'm great, man. To answer your question, I'm doing awesome. And that little shift in how I deliver the answer to that question has been instrumental in my own mindset, because I simply don't look at myself as busy anymore. I really do just look at myself as like, I wake up and I do some things today, and I wake up tomorrow and I'm going to do some things tomorrow. But the busyness was too much for me. And you probably know this, man. It's like, because you're living it sometimes. It's like your frequency gets so high when you're in that like go, 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 go mindset, that I think it's what leads people to getting sick. I think it's what leads people to, having to just completely check out and fry out and lose their crap on people. I think it contributes to how we show up for our families and our friends and our coworkers specifically. So I think I just like a long way to answer your question is I think it's awareness, and I think we've created a hustle culture that's completely unhealthy. And then probably if there's a third, it's this thing right here, man. Like this is really wrecked us, because no longer do we ever fully unplug and give ourselves a chance to kind of bring it down.
Yeah,
So,
boy. Wow, dude,
it's tough.
I'm so glad I asked that, because I'm guilty of all of those things.
We all are. We all are. And that's the thing, right? But when you get aware of it, you can slow it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you say also about the fact you're like, I'm fantastic. I'm leaning into these things. And you talk about the things that you're doing, but you're doing them because you're choosing to do them.
That's right.
Because boy, when you start saying I'm busy, I don't know about you, but for me, it's really quick. I quickly slip into the victim mentality. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this.
Right. I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. Right.
Yeah, I have to. And it's just like, do you really have to? Or do you want to? Like, you're choosing to do this. And I understand the pressure, because whether it's financial or whatever that might be. But nevertheless, it's like when you start telling that story over and over and over again in your head, it gets chaotic. And I'm just speaking from experience right now. So,
right.
Man, that's really powerful stuff, dude. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it too, man. I mean, you'd probably benefit from it a little bit too. It's just to change the language a little bit.
I'm going to adopt that. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to adopt that. It's boy, it can only help. That's for sure.
Can't hurt, man. And that's the deal, right? Just can't hurt.
Yeah, no kidding. I like that.
All right. Well, here we go. We got our third and final question for the I Needed That podcast here today. I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this question, but I found it interesting. And because of the timing of getting to these questions, I don't even, maybe she's had this baby by now, and he could be 3 years old from.
Right.
So good. All right, here we go. Listen up. Listen up.
Hi, my question is for Chris. How do I maintain a healthy amount of calories throughout the day while maintaining a good milk supply for my baby? Because I'm currently still nursing her. Would you recommend a meal replacement shake, or that be too little calories? Let me know. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be totally tuned in on breast milk and proper proportions for feeding, but maybe you've experienced this.
Well, having been through the whole kid thing twice with my ex-wife. So the one super cool thing about breastfeeding is that if you are breastfeeding, you're burning at least another 500 calories a day breastfeeding. So you actually have to increase your calorie intake, which is awesome because it's almost like a free bout of cardio. It's like, hey, there you go, and you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is feed the baby,
Right.
and it's enough calories like you're doing a bout of cardio, like a significant one. But here's the thing, also that the questions like this, especially when it comes to pre-pregnancy, during, and postpartum, it's really important. Those are definitely ones that I'm going to say you must talk to your physician about that, because they know you and they know your body best with everything that you've gone through with the baby. And so it's definitely important that you're going to consult with them before you make any decisions about your health and your baby's health.
Okay.
But with that being said, I mean, typically when it comes to like a meal replacement shake or protein shakes and everything, most of the doctors that I know of, they're totally fine with them. But again, this is not me giving advice or anything. I'm just telling you from my experience working with doctors who have worked with women postpartum who are nursing. Usually a meal replacement shake is totally fine. However, you don't want to just necessarily do just a meal replacement shake. You definitely want to get some real whole natural foods in there as well. But again, this is not me giving you medical advice by any stretch of the imagination. I just want to make that crystal clear.
You have. Okay. But by and large, like it's not gonna it shouldn't hurt most people. It shouldn't hurt them to have a meal replacement, especially if they're feeling like they're eating a lot already and they're like, I just can't have another meal. It's like that's a good option, man.
And they need the convenience. Maybe it's a cost factor or something like that, and they're just looking for a quality source of protein that's easy to get and doesn't cost a lot of money. Yeah, meal replacement shakes are fantastic. They're wonderful. Right. Maybe throw in a little peanut butter for some healthy fats and all that good stuff, or some, avocado or something like that. That'd be even better. So yeah, there you go.
There it is, man. Listen, jump on over to chrispowell.com and hit the Ask Chris button that you'll find on the podcast tab. That's where you'll find the merch too. We can't thank everybody enough for being so patient as we got to these questions. We've got quite a catalog of questions, Chris, and so I think every week here for the next couple, we're going to have to answer a couple of these questions just to get caught up, okay?
Yeah, let's go. This is fun. I love
it too. It's awesome.
Thank you so much for recording these questions for us. It's amazing to hear your voice too. I really like that. It's awesome to hear our listeners.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
It reminds me of my radio days, man, where like people just called you all morning. Like this was my life for 30 years was people just calling and asking questions. And it's literally my favorite part of the whole experience.
Yeah, because it's a connection part,
Yes.
Yeah, let's keep this going.
All right. You guys jump over to chrispowell.com. Chris is going to jump in his Tesla and sleep in the back seat for the next 8 hours. I'm guessing Rachel's going to be generous enough to drive again.
Yes, thank goodness she's going to.
You got a good one there, man.
Boy, she is amazing. And, I really am blessed. Our whole team is so incredible, but, she's my right hand, everything. And we work really, really well together. And beyond that, she's just such a wonderful friend. So we have a lot of fun. We've had a lot of adventures and a lot more to come. That's for sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you for, pardon me, listening to the I Needed That podcast. Please leave a review, a 5-star. Ask Chris a question. Get yourself a brand new hoodie or a t-shirt today. And we'll see everybody next week on the I Needed That podcast. Drive safe, Chris.
Thanks, brother. See ya.